Hi, my name is Jessica. I work in an office and am 35 years old. Since my husband Bob, who is 2 years younger than me, was moved, we've been staying with his parents for now. Let me stress that it's only brief. Bob seems to enjoy living in the house where he grew up, but I can't wait to find our own place and leave as soon as possible. This is because my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, drive me crazy. Her bad mood got worse after we moved in together, even though she was always mean before we got married. Jessie, haven't you already gone shopping? You missed the early bird sale at the store. You aren't even good at shopping. My boss lets me work from home, but I still have to go to work during the week. I won't be able to do my shopping at the early bird sale time at the grocery store. Mother-in-law, as I've said many times, I work during the day so I can't go shopping until after 5 p.m. My mother-in-law tells me I'm wrong every time I say this. Here she goes, being so cocky. Not even able to have a child. Bob and I don't have any kids. We aren't sure of who is to blame because we haven't checked at the hospital. I wanted a child, but Bob's income meant we couldn't pay for the pricey fertility methods. Even before we moved in together, my mother-in-law's mean comments were making me feel bad. However, it was better when we lived apart. Since we lived together day and night, I hear her mean things all the time. Even though my father-in-law doesn't say mean things directly, he annoys me in another way. He treats me, a 35-year-old woman, like I'm an old lady because he seems to think that women over 30 are. Hey, old lady, bring me the ashtray. What's the point of your skirt? No one wishes to see your legs. I want to ask him. If I'm an old lady, then you're a 60-year-old man? I'm not a pushover either, so I respond when they say something mean about me. But that makes our relationship worse because they think I'm being bossy. The house is always tense, and I could already feel the stress of living with other women. We couldn't talk about moving out though, because Bob started working more on the weekends and taking more business trips after the move. Jess, I have another work trip this coming weekend. You were away on business. It looks like this new branch goes on a lot of work trips. Before he got transferred, he had to work extra hours, but there wasn't much work on the weekends or business trips. It's not possible, right? The work changes as the place of work does. Things do change when people get new jobs, but isn't this too much? We can't even find a place to move because of this, even though we were meant to stay with my in-laws for a while. What if we had to stay with my in-laws for a long time? That scared me. Things did not go as planned, though. While taking Bob's laundry out of his bag after his work trip, I found a piece of paper in the pocket. As it turned out, it was a printout of a reservation made on a vacation website. When I read it more carefully, I couldn't believe what I saw. I thought it was just a flight and hotel reservation for his work trip. Yesterday, while Bob was on a work trip, there was a hotel reservation with Disneyland tickets for 2 people. Bob's business has nothing to do with Disneyland, of course. They do sell fish, but that's about all they have to offer near Disneyland. It does not matter. Bob was lying and saying he was going on a work trip when he was really going to Disneyland for 2 days. The hotel ticket was for 2 people, so it's clear that he was with a woman. I heard Bob singing in the shower while I was still shocked. That popular ride song. It's a small world after all. He must have been singing and thinking about Disneyland at the same time. Attractions don't seem to matter much on a trip for fun and pleasure, though. I was so mad that I was ready to run into the bathroom and talk to Bob. But Bob's phone rang right then. I didn't think straight when I answered the phone because I was so angry. Hi there. Hi there. I heard the voice of a young woman for a moment before the call was cut off. Is it possible? When I got the call right now, I was sure it was from the woman Bob went to Disneyland with, or his lover. She must have been scared and hung up when she heard my voice answering Bob's phone. I looked at the list of calls on his phone. Bob doesn't care much about security, so he doesn't try to make a strong password. I guessed that his passcode would be his 4-digit birthday, and sure enough, the phone was opened right away. But it made my head spin to look at his phone. There was clear and strong proof that he had been cheating on her. There were lots of selfies of him and a young woman in the picture files. The pictures were taken on days that Bob was either on a business trip or working on his days off. I was shocked at how careless he was, leaving pictures of them being close. When I looked at his call records again, I saw the name Melissa Smith. I then looked for the same name in his list of WhatsApp friends and opened the chat screen. I love you, Bob. Soon I want to be your wife. This girl Melissa seems to want to marry Bob, which could be bad for the family. Bob came out of the bathroom while I was cutting this down. Ah, that's refreshing. I went up to Bob right away as he came out of the house drying his hair with a towel. Felt refreshed, huh? It looks like you're feeling pretty good in many ways, huh? What does Melissa Smith do? When his mistress's name was brought up, Bob jumped back. That's right. You've been telling lies about going on work trips when you've really been going on trips by yourself with Michelle Smith. Were all of your business trips and days off from work lies? Not forgivable. Why do you, how in the world? I pointed my phone at Bob, who was mad. This smartphone has all the proof right here. Hello, did you look through my phone? That's not letting you in my privacy. It's funny that a man with no morals enough to cheat would complain about privacy invasion. Make a stronger password if you don't want people to see it. I promised Bob that he would never cheat on me before we got married. I told Bob that if he cheated, I would weed him right away. Of course, I still feel the same way. When a guy is playing around with another woman, I can't stay married to him. Let's get a divorce. When I just said that, Bob agreed right away, which surprised me. I guess that's true. It was a surprise. He seemed like he would fight back more. When he was caught cheating, was he ready for a divorce? The papers for the divorce will arrive tomorrow. You tell your parents. Do you understand? Bob agreed, but he did so in an incredibly casual way. But the statement can't be taken back once it's been sent out, and I have no plans to do that. Is this the end of our marriage? I had a twinge of owing. The next morning, I got up early to go to the city office and get the divorce papers. I also had some other things to do. It was late at night when I got home. There, in the house, were my husband and his parents, ready to greet me. All right, you're back now. We wanted to know how long you were going to be lost. I got mean looks from my mother-in-law as soon as she saw me. Since Bob is here, she should already know about his cheating and our breakup. Shouldn't she say something nice, like sorry, before she says something mean? But my mother-in-law didn't say sorry, she said something crazy. It doesn't matter. You're finally going, though. We no longer want to see your face, so it's a good thing you've been away all day. What do you mean? The answer to my question came from my mother-in-law with a smug smile. Just what I said. I'm done looking at your face. Bob is finally back home, and you were just getting in the way. You always talk behind people's backs without being charming. It took you so long to get the hint, even when I tried to make you feel bad enough to leave. I had to finally use my ace in the hole. Ace in the hole? She smiled happily at my mother-in-law. You already know what Liz's name is, right? Yes, like Smith. Why did she ask me if I knew who Bob's lover was? Hey, you see, Mrs. Smith is a friend of mine from book club. Her daughter is such a sweet and well-behaved girl. She is only 25 years old, 10 years younger than you. She's old enough to have kids now. Then my wife's mum dropped a bomb. So I put Mrs. Smith's daughter in touch with Bob. Please excuse me? I was amazed. This is not what I thought my mother-in-law would say to me. Are you saying, mother-in-law, you arranged Bob's affair? Oh, organized is such a scandalous word. I just put them together. I was shocked when my mother-in-law talked happily about the bad things she had done. I find it hard to believe that a mother would make her son cheat on her, and then be so proud to tell his wife about it. What a terrible mom. Well, I didn't have a choice. We need an heir since Bob is our only child. Without having kids, you would have been my daughter-in-law, but all you did was work and never had any. My father-in-law agreed with my mother-in-law and stood next to her. That means he knew what his wife was doing. Do you get it? We no longer need a 35-year-old woman who can't even have children. Quickly leave if you understand. My mother-in-law pointed at me with a happy face. I see, I said after a moment of quiet. I fully understand what you mean. I'll leave when you tell me to. I'm going to bring everything with me. Oh. Kindly do. You probably don't have much with you anyway. Do you want some help moving? Even though she didn't know anything, my mother-in-law laughed and told me I would have the last laugh. No, it's okay. Don't worry about me. Everything is taken care of. Huh. My mother-in-law is shocked that I wasn't crying or freaking out. Besides, mother-in-law, I already know that you were helping Bob cheat on me. I gave my mother-in-law a smirk. You know what I've been up to all day. It wouldn't have taken this long if I had just gone to City Hall to get divorce papers. It took me all day to plan a move and meet with Melissa Smith. God, I love you. You got together with Melissa? Bob asked me quickly. What did you think? You know what? I'd let you cheat on me and not tell the other woman? When I checked your phone yesterday, I made sure to write down her number, I said in a cool voice. Melissa, but she was shocked when I called her and said, Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm Bob's wife. I'd like to meet you. It looks like you've been lying to her by saying you're single. I was honest with her. Bob, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law were all shocked. They didn't think I could do something this big in just one day. Melanie was very angry when she learned that she was the other woman in your affair. Of course, Mrs. Smith was mad too, and so were you, Mum. She meant to sue you both for cheating on your marriage. I really felt sorry for her, so I promised to do everything I could to help. What? Bob looked very shook up. My wife's mother was also in the same town. Though Melissa did many things that made me feel sorry for her, I've chosen not to ask her for money. I'll instead ask you, Bob, as well as your mother-in-law and father-in-law, for more money. Payment? Why the hell do we have to pay for this? My father-in-law screamed in fear. It's one thing if it's just Bob, but we have nothing to do with this. He seemed to be hoping that his son would pay for his affair, but they had no idea that they would have to pay. Are you ready to take the best part without getting hurt? That doesn't exist. Yes, you do. Because your abuse is making people feel bad is more than enough of a reason, don't you think? My father-in-law stopped talking as I smiled and said this. Have you forgotten what I do for a living? I work for a law company. Why don't I talk to my boss, the lawyer, about how much money we can get from you as compensation? I had already told my lawyer at the company what was going on. Then someone heard a car pull up in the driveway. There they are. Hey, this is a moving company. With a smile on my face, I walked to the door. Thanks for coming late. I'm sorry for the sudden request. No trouble. The night shift was open. In fact, it worked out for me too. I was able to finish some other things, so please begin right away. Also, be careful, because some of the things are fragile. As soon as I opened the door for them, a group of movers came in and started gathering our things. Wait, hold on. They began to pack up my things quickly and efficiently after I told them to. The things in the living room and kitchen, too, not just my clothes, books, and computer. Hey, you guys, don't take that. That's ours. No. Everything here is mine. I brought it here when we moved in. After Bob's job shift, my in-laws and I moved in with them. The appliances they had were all old and had been used for a long time. We had to have our things shipped over from our old flat because I couldn't stand it any longer. It looked like my mother-in-law had used the newest tools and thought they were her own. A robotic hoover and portable cleaner, a high-end oven range with different cooking options, an induction hob, a hair dryer with negative ions and an espresso machine. You're taking everything, you greedy woman. My mother-in-law lunged at me, but Bob stopped her. Mom, it can't be helped, but it's all Jessica's. Bob seemed to have come to terms with what was going on. My mother-in-law didn't seem ready to give up yet, though. Once you know how much better the newest appliances are, you can't go back, right? If you're not happy with them, why not buy new ones? There's a good chance you won't have enough money to buy new high-end tools after paying the compensation. While this was going on, I told the movers to quickly load my things into their truck. They bowed to me and ran into the truck. Okay, I'll also be going to the new address. Make sure everything gets there. I got in my car and watched the moving truck leave. Of course, I own this car too. Where is that truck going? Bob inquired. Huh. Of course, I'll bring it to my old flat, where I lived before you moved. My place to live. Because Bob got a new job, the flat I bought when I was single was put up for sale by a real estate agent. I tried to sell it, but the price I set was too high, so it never did. I still own it. Several times, the real estate agent told me to lower the price, but I'm glad I didn't. I had no idea this would happen. I laughed softly as I put on my seatbelt. But maybe, just maybe, I predicted this would happen deep down. What? Bob looked like he didn't get it. Because I set a selling price higher than the market rate to make sure it wouldn't sell. This way I could always move back to my flat. When Bob heard what I said, he seemed to fall to his knees. Such a feeling. As I let down my guard because I was sure I had won, my mother-in-law pushed me and yelled at me. As I moaned in pain, my mother-in-law tried to attack me again by throwing a cutting board, but she was hit by something black and fell down yelling. Thank you, Blackie. I jumped into the moving truck with Blackie, a stray cat, in my arms and ran to my new home to get away from my mother-in-law. The wild cat Blackie was there at that time for no reason. I'm sure he came to help me because he has a strong sense of right and wrong. After work, I'll give him some catnip as a present. After that, Bob and I split up. The law company where I work sued Bob and his parents to get them to pay us money. Thank goodness that the young lawyers-to-be at the office took my case for almost no cost at all. I feel safe even though a young, new lawyer is in charge because they have the help of an older lawyer. When Melissa Smith was sued, it was the senior lawyer who took on the case, not one of the students. Due to the seriousness of the case, he said he would file both criminal and civil cases. He said he was excited to file a criminal case because it had been a long time since he had done so. It most likely won't be enough, even if they sell their house and pay me and Melissa Smith. I can't help but smile when I think about the life of great poverty and debt that the three of them are about to face. Even though I'm by myself now, it's better than living with my angry husband and his family. I want to enjoy being single for a while with Blackie, who I brought to my flat by accident.